Welcome back to this TSAT. I'm 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 𝗚𝗏𝗀𝗛. I'll be looking at this DSC English content. And in the first part of this DSC English content, I'm going to look at this, study skills and note making. In the study skills, we have note making, note taking, the two skills are there. It is one of the important activity in academia, and the process of recording these important points, writer's main ideas for this existing material is called as a note making. Note making is a process of collecting the information. There is we studied a lot of things, and we have lots of textbooks and we have reference materials. We went to the library and we go to the library normally, and we'll try to pick up some important points that are useful for us as an extension of our answers. So what we do is we will just make out some notes. We make notes, making the notes from the existing information. The textbook is there. At the end of the textbook, you will find what we learnt, or points to ponder, etc. And all those are called as note making points. The writer's main ideas are picked up. If a passage is unseen passage or unknown passage is given to you and ask you to make the notes out of that, what do we do and how do we do about it, and we will see in this note making process. Note making is a very, very important exercise in academia, and it should include all the points for the quick revision. And suppose if I look at these points and also look at this original text, I should get the same information. If I wanted to for the quick revision before the examination, if I make out notes, that would be hardly 2 or 3 pages. But if I wanted to look at the whole textbook, whole text, it will run into 6 to 7 pages, which it will take about 2 to 3 hours to go through. If the same 2 to 3 hours of time is given for me, instead of going through once to the original text, from going through the points that are notes that I made it, I can make as many as 3 to 4 times revision. For all quick revision and all, we make notes. This is a very common experience for most of the students, and all the bright students from these, right from these lower classes till the graduation or post graduation, even the research level also, we do this. When the process of making notes is usually by surveying. First we survey, we look for the topic sentence, and once the topic sentence is identified, we just get to know about this text, that is what is dealing with, and with also the direction in which this the theme is developed. This is very important aspect. Surveying, right? We have to identify the topic sentence. Not necessary that every time the topic sentence should be the opening sentence. Majority of the cases in primarily and middle school levels, the topic sentence will be in the beginning. The first opening, it's like a news headlines. Once the news headlines are read out, followed by this information. But in some cases where it is very difficult for you to identify the topic sentence, in some cases it could be at the end of the paragraph. But if it is in between, we have to have a quick survey about this, like we call it as skimming. We will just try to skim the whole passage, and we will try to identify the topic sentence. From there, we will just try to move on along with this writer where he wants to take us, where he wants the direction in which the theme is developed and how it is being developed and all. This we will see. Then comprehension. Once we know that's what the text deals with, like the topic sentence and all, then we read it again for the main points and highlighting this certain underlining words, and we identify certain things and we'll put like a mark like this. We will just read it like this, okay, and then we will try to identify, make it up as a point and systematically jot down. Suppose it's while making it out, I can make use of just 2 things. One, I can make it as some topics like this, like using a tree diagram and all. Then this is further subdivided, and this is further subdivided. This is one way of making notes. The other way of making notes is using Roman numbers. The first major point is this, and followed by the sub points are like this, and then second major point is here. Then sub points are here, and etc. This is, or we use this Roman numbers, and then followed by number 1, number 2, number 3, or A, B, C, etc. Identifying this theme is very important. Suppose, for example, there are schools. What type of schools do we have? We have government schools and private schools. Then this is a major clarification. In the government schools, again, there we have CBSE schools and state-run schools. Then we will go into the state-run schools again, English medium schools and Telugu medium school. Then further we will subdivide it into like schools in where the single say gender schools, like all girls school or all boys school. This is all the setup of this. If you know this, say, if you read it as it comes into this 1 or 2 pages of this 3 or 4 paragraphs, and each paragraph is given by one subtitle head size, like 1. This is a major point, and followed by subpoints. Of course, I am going to make them as the Roman numbers with small numbers 1, 2, 3, or A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, etc. This is an art. This is very important art, and everybody knows this art, and everybody has been using this art. But in the examination, how it comes and all, this is an important question. Note making and note taking, there is a slight difference, and say people will get confused with this. Therefore, that could be an examination question. This is one. And second thing, how are going to say make the notes? When we make the notes, we can use it as a graph, or we can use it as a flow chart, or we can use it as like this, a tabular form, or we can use this like first main point followed by sub points, and like this. These are the 2 ways of doing it. How do we go about this is very important. We will try to identify survey, what the writer is talking about, and we will try to identify in which direction it is moving. The theme of this concept, that is both these things we have to understand. Only once we are understanding these through, then we will highlight the certain points, then only those points will be made as notes, jotted down somewhere. Notes are very brief. We don't make the complete sentence. We'll just write it as in a short form. I just told that, say, the sentence goes like, there are different kinds of the schools in India. For example, the schools run by the private sector and schools run in the government sector. And like instead of writing the whole sentence, I'll just make it as government sector and private sector. This is how I'm going to make. In the government sector, again, say schools run by the say local bodies and government schools and ZP schools. Then further, government schools are subdivided into groups like, say, municipal schools and government schools. And of course, we don't have any municipal schools in Telangana region, but in Andhra region, there are some municipal schools. They are still existing. But in Telangana, we have only government and local body schools, 𝗧𝗧𝗧 school, etc. So this is how we are going to make it. The same thing, if you wanted to put it in the other way, government school, I'll just write it as government school size for 1 unit, then private school size 1 unit, then subdivisions, etc. We are going to make it like this. So this is the art of making notes. In the examination, say what type of things will be asked, and say when a passage is given, ask you to make out 2 important notes from the passage, then you have to identify. And what exactly it goes with this, the topic sentence, as I told you. The topic sentence, you need not necessarily in the opening sentence. It could be somewhere in the 3rd or 4th part of this. It's somewhere in the middle of this. You have to identify that, and how the author wants to go about it. That's very important. We'll look at these 2 things, and accordingly we will make notes. Note making, so while making notes, you have to see to it that everything that is covered. If in the tabular form, if I have a quick glance at it will help me to find it out. But when you read it out, it takes a longer time. 2 pages or 3 pages, say, text can be put into some single page or a half page notes. In the notes, we will write everything in brief, very short, not the complete sentence, just the keywords. And this is how we are going to make notes. We did it in long back in the school level, at the college level, even in the school level also, in the even first year and second year up to intermediate level. The important points are jotted down at the end of this. What did we learn in this lesson? Or it's under points to ponder, or say the important points to remember, etc. They are given at the end of the text. You just read the whole text and also see this gist, the notes that they made, and you will get the same info. During the examination part, say what do we do is, we will read the whole text, but just before the examination, say hours before the examination, we will just go through quickly go through all the points that are given there. That will help us a lot to identify what exactly it is given in the whole text. This is say note making is a very common exercise, and we did it several times, and we are also still doing it. And when we go to the library and we refer to the dictionary, we refer to the different kinds of these books, textbooks, and we'll jot down some points which we feel that very important, which are connected to our subject, then we will make a list of those things and we will add them to our notes, and we will enhance our ability of answering a brighter answer and a better answer. This is all about your note making. Next, we move on to to distinguish the different points with an idea. We can use Roman numerals, like as I told you, 1, 2, 3, like 1, then 2, then 3 important points, then followed by sub points like A, B. I can use A, B, or I can use say some other way like this small Roman numbers, etc., or Arabic and small number letters, or whatever I can use it. This is it, just to show you, demonstrate these things. I made this. So the next point that I would like to move on to is note taking. A similar and another important skill is called as note taking. It refers to the skill of taking notes from the lecture. It is not only from the class, from the seminars, from the conferences, or from the workshops. Note making and note taking, they look alike. Note making is from the existing source. It's already source is with you, and from the source you are picking up. We are underlining some points and we are deleting some unimportant things. We are discarding something and we are adding something else, and we are making it a small point and we are jotting down it somewhere at the end of the text. This is note making. But in the case of note taking, it is from the live session. If somebody is giving a lecture, I attended some seminar, I attended some lecture, then when I go there, I'll just go with the notepad and also pen, and as I listen to that speaker, I'll be just watching this, say what exactly he's speaking, and if I feel that some point is important, then I'll just note down these points. And most of the times, say at the end of the lecture, again they are going to give the recap for about a minute or so that will be easy for us to identify. Even if I could not, let's say, make a particular point, I don't bother about it. I just leave some space for that. Then when he or she gives us the recap, or in the seminar, when it is reiterated for the second time, and when it is repeated, I'm going to fill up the gaps in between. This is how note taking is. Note taking, say, it could be, say, if it's online classes, when I'm listening to the online classes. Now, of course, there is a facility that they'll record and they'll also upload in the YouTubes and other things. But earlier, as the live session is going on, we have to listen to the speaker, then we have to jot down some important points. And we have to ask some questions related to those things on live only. So there was no possibility of, say, recorded versions and all. But now, of course, the recorded versions are there. But however, the skill is very important. It's also a very important skill in academia. When you enter into, say, research papers, when somebody publishes research paper in the seminars and conferences and all, or workshops, when we go there and we have to note down certain things, you have to learn some new things. What are the new things that you have learned? We have to make a note of those things. This exercise is called as note taking. The earlier one is note making. In the note making, already existing material is there. We will discard certain things and we will underline and highlight some points, and we are going to jot them out. But in the note taking, we have to be very cautious. You should listen to what the speaker is speaking, either from the lecture or from the TV show or from the radio talk or anywhere, or from the seminar or from a conference and etc. We listen to them carefully. We should be very cautious in listening. We should have a focused listening. From the focused listening, we can able to identify what exactly he is talking about, and in how it's different from the other's point of view. We will make a note of it, and we take it as a note. Then, out of these two, note taking, it's a bit easy if you follow these points. Listen the lecture carefully. If you listen the lecture, somebody is in seminar or in the workshop and the conference, when you attend, or when you are listening to the radio talk, or when you are listening to the TV show and all, say somebody is note taking is a bit easy if you follow certain points, like listen the lecture focusedly, carefully, and with a purpose, definite purpose. Good speakers usually disclose this purpose of the lecture, which is likely to the surveying in the note making. Even here also, I just told you that what I'm going to talk about in the next 10 minutes or 15 minutes of the lecture, that I told you that I'll be looking at this writing skill part, and in the writing skill part, say note taking, note making, and something else I'm going to do. This is say, you need not survey also what I'm going to talk about. I just told you, I made it very clear for you. So straight away you can go to the note taking part, and you just make a heading like, say, note taking. And you can make it the points, point number 1, point number 2, etc. This is how your job is made easy, because I told you that in most of the, say, good speakers and good, say, everyone, before starting this actual lecture, they'll give an intro. That intro itself is like surveying in the other part, like note making. So your job is easy in the case of note taking. That's why I told you that it's a bit easy. It is easy in the sense if you follow the points, like you should have a focused listening with a definite purpose. You should listen it carefully, and as the speakers say repeatedly says, either in the beginning they'll say once, and also at the end before they conclude again they'll repeat the same thing. Therefore it becomes easy for you to not to spend too long time for on surveying and all. Then try to note down main points as you listen. If you have doubt, leave some space about and fill up the space at the end of the lecture or after clarifying with the speaker and all. So as I told you, say suppose if the speaker is speaking very quickly, fastly, then it will be very fast. It will be difficult for you to do that. So what do we do is, suppose if I made a 1 point, then I made 1 point and there are 2 more points are left over. I could made it out only 1, and in between the second one I could not, then I just added the third one, and there is something in between is missing. Don't worry about it. As the speaker say before the conclusion, he will just come back to this, and when he comes back you should be very carefully listen only for the point that you are missing, that is for the B part, and just do it. See, my focus listening only for this part, that is very, very specific and with a purposeful. See, I'm from Warangal. When I go to this railway station, I'll just look for these things. The train number, announcement, all those things I don't care, because that is not important for me. Train number 17206, etc. What do I look for is the platform number. I'm going to platform number 1 or 2, then I'll just look at this. I'll listen for the last one, the platform number 2 or 3. That's very important one. If there is a train that will take me towards Secunderabad, otherwise it will take me to the 𝗂𝗃𝗺 railway station or some other railway station. I don't worry about all other statements, but just one thing is that is a platform number 1 is, if it is 1, then it will take me towards Warangal. If it is 2 or 3 or some other number, then it may take me to the Falaknuma, or it may take me to somewhere else. So when I make the notes, I will be focused only on the main points. I focus on the points, then I'll try to list out the things like point number 1, point number 2, then point number 2, then sub points A, B, etc. Then point number 3, then I'm going to have sub points like A, B, C, etc. Even if you miss 1 or 2 in between also, don't worry. The surveying part, like we did it in the case of written passage is given to you, like a note is given to you, that part will skip off here. This makes your job easier. Then good speakers, as I told you, that give the recapitulation, so fill up the gaps in case if any is left over. Same in the same thing, you can use a diagram, you can use a flow chart, or you can use abbreviations while taking the notes. Note making and note taking, in both the cases we can do this. Say one way of doing is using the diagrams. This is one. In the history, then let's say somebody king and his family, his dynasty, etc. is there. We will draw with the help of a flow chart, or we will draw with the help of a diagram. Then we use abbreviations and all. So the examination question could be in the note making, what are the things that you use? We use flow charts, we use abbreviations, we use Roman letters, and we use Arabic letters. We also use A, B, C, D, etc. This is it. Then we have a reference skill, is use of a dictionary. This is another important skill. A dictionary entry tells us something. Dictionary, usually when we talk about the dictionaries and how do we use as reference skill, all the words that are given in the dictionary in the alphabetical arrange, you know this, and dictionary gives you meaning of the most of the words. This is the information general tendency of these people. But a dictionary entry tells you a lot of information. It gives a lot of information, like it gives a phonetic transcription in both the British English and American English. Most probably British English for the first, immediately followed by the letter, you will find a phonetic transcription. Then grammar info, like whether it's it's a noun form or the verb form, or it's an adjective or an adverb or preposition or conjunction, etc. that is given. If it is a noun form, again it's given into like countable noun or uncountable noun. This information also is given to you. And if it is in verb form, it's a V1 form or V2 form, V3 form. And if it is a transitive verb or intransitive verb, this information is also given to you. And a dictionary tells us a lot of information, as I told you. This is one. And it also gives us use of this word, whether it is used as a formal word or informal word. There are certain words, earlier they are in uses, but now they are no more in uses, that old English words and all. Then of course the meaning of the word. Meanings of the words, say usually the and usage of the words. So it will be followed by this first meaning, the closest meaning, then followed by, as we move on to this 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. The meaning of the fourth one or the fifth one will be more or less like a synonym for this word. The first meaning is exactly equivalent to the word, and third, fourth and all, as we move away from this, say the main word, then it will be a bit closer meaning, a contextual meaning, but not the exact meaning. And usage of the word with examples and derivatives of the word too are also given. Usage of the word is very important. A dictionary, as I told you, it gives you the, say, phonetic transcription, how do you pronounce the word, that is given. Then say phonetic transcription, of course it is given in both British English form and also in American English form. Then which part of this speech it is, that is say the grammar part, whether it is a noun or verb or adjective or adverb, etc. that is given. Then followed by that one, you will also have, say, usage. That's the most important part, is usage. Meaning, of course, is there. All these words are in the alphabetical, they are arranged in, say, in the dictionary. And if you, when you wanted to look at this dictionary's words, say if you open the dictionary, it runs into about 500 to 600 pages. If I wanted to find out the word like beginning with an apple, which way, where do you find this one? In the first half or the second half? We find, of course, in the first half. Then say if I wanted to find out this xylophone, then say in that case, or Xerox, where do I find? I find it is at the end of the textbook. And say as you open in the middle of the textbook, you find some word here, we call it as the head word. This is called as a head word. And say we'll look for this 2 letters together or 3 letters together, and we'll try to come down and we'll try to look at this exact word that we are going to find it out. This word is followed by phonetic transcription. And after the phonetic transcription, let's say, suppose if it is a noun, say it will have a noun, countable or uncountable noun, say countable or uncountable. This is given this different brackets, countable noun or uncountable. If it is a verb, suppose if there is a verb like see, whether it is a transitive verb or say intransitive verb, this also they will give you. Transitive verbs are the verbs followed by certain things. I gave a book to whom? I gave a book to my friend, my sister, my cousin, my somebody. If that is the case, it is followed by the verb, it is followed, say, but to whom I am giving, this is called as a transitive verb. This, you know, you will come across this transitive and intransitive verbs in the case of active voice and passive voice later. And we will, when we come to that part, we will discuss about these verbs later. But here, this information is given there. Then, of course, the meaning of the word is given. Then, above all, the usage of the word. The use of the word is very important, that is given, and also its derivatives, like say by adding suffixes or prefixes, etc. Those things are also. This all the information that you require to find out a word is given here. You need to know all these things, and as an English teacher, you need to know all these things. Unless you know all these things, you cannot help your students to learn those things. So, all the information that is required to for an English teacher is given, and anything could be an examination question. What else that say dictionary entry gives? A dictionary entry gives only meaning, only usage of the word, only say grammar part, or only this, or both say this and that, etc. They will add questions and all. They'll make a multiple number of questions, but there could be only one question on this topic. All the skills that I'm talking about here, they are say more descriptive in nature and lesser in objective in nature. You find more questions on the grammar and other parts, and but in the case of this note making, note taking, and say these things, you will find the lesser number of questions. And I could not give you say more number of questions because we had only one examination that we had before, and the Gurukula examination, and there also TGT examination is not available. Principals, say English proficiency test for the principals is available, and PGT examination that is little above this level of our DSC coaching. Therefore, I am avoiding this instead of putting you in confusion. So then say what kind of the word it is, whether it is used as a formal word or informal word is given, meaning of course is given, and the usage of the word along with these examples. These things you learn from this dictionary entry. To recap, dictionary entry has to say all these words are arranged in the dictionary in the alphabetical order. This of course you know, and as I told you word, suppose if I say student, this will be in the second half, and if I say book, that will be in the first half, and if I say some other word like say gum, or say beginning with this HIJKLMN, M, N, O, etc. O, orange, etc. That will be somewhere in the middle of the book. That this part is clear to you, and anybody can identify this. But now when it comes to this actually locating the word and all, we have to look for this. Say this is the head word. That's on the cover page. In the top of the cover, you will find the, we'll identify the first 3 letters of the word. Then from there, we'll look down and we'll try to identify that the exact word that we are going to locate here somewhere. This is the actual word we are looking for, and this is the head word. From the head word, immediately followed by the head word, you are going to have, say, phonetic transcription. That is in both American English and also British English. Immediately followed by the phonetic transcription, we will have which part of the verb it is, like a grammar information. That is, is it a noun, or if it is a noun, it is given as n. If it is an, say, pronoun, it is given as pro. And if it is a verb, it is given as verb. And if it is given as adjective, it is given as adj. If it is given as something else, like say preposition, they will give it as preposition. And if it is a conjunction, they will write it as etc. If it is an adverb, it is written as adverb. This information is there. Plus, immediately followed by that one, the meaning of the word is given. And then let's say there what we call derivatives. If the word original word form is given, then the derivatives, like suppose if the word is given like examine, examination, it can be formed into like examination and other forms in case if any, right? If it's say content, then if anything is to be made, we are going to look at this. So these kind of things, say, we will find in this dictionary. So in the dictionary usage, there could be 1 or 2 questions. The one question, the simple question, usually it will be in which part of this, say, dictionary do you find this particular word, specific word. And say if you know that word, actually you are supposed to know about its 4 things. You should know about its pronunciation, you should know its spelling, and you should know its meaning, of course, and followed above all, you have to know its usage. Usage part is very important. Most of the, only when you say that, when you know all the 4 aspects of this word, you should say that I know this specific word and all. So this is very important. So dictionary has a lot of uses for this. It's used as a reference skill, and you just give the, say, pick up a few words that you like, and then try to identify where you want it, where do you find out this. And with this, I conclude this session. And in the next session, we'll look at some other aspects of this, say, features of English. And thank you very much for being with me. And in the next session, we will see in some other aspects of this.